Hello, everybody.
Yep.
Whoop.
Stand
Hello,
by.
everybody from
Stand by.
beautiful.
Stand by. Stand by.
Christ.
I'll say,
Well, it says we're streaming live on Facebook.
go.
Good morning, everybody from beautiful downtown Miramichi. And it's a sunny day, but I'm not in the sun at the moment. So, this is our first podcast, and I'd like to welcome everyone who has been kind enough to join us. Few technical difficulties to start, as there often are. And I'm in the dining room, the breakfast room, as you will, right beside the river, Miramichi, the Miramichi River. So, those of you who chat and say things that I see here on the side, you'll be in the running for 2 lobsters, and we're going to have them sent wherever you need them and when you need them. So that's all up for debate. I'd like to introduce our first guest, often known as the Colonel Sanders.
Thanks a
Hey,
lot.
Christopher. There we go. Now, there, see, I got something like that. Okay,
Yeah.
Christopher, you have been in this business for a long time, in the business of online digital marketing and things.
Well, I have, but I don't even know what this show's called. What are we on here anyway? What's the name of the show?
You can't be serious.
Well, yeah, I'm serious. That's the reason I'm asking the question.
You don't know what the name of the show is.
And not really. Or chamber chats, or what is it? What
You
is
can't
it?
be serious.
Oh my! I keep asking the same question. All right.
Well, then let's call it mousse and maple syrup. That's what I wanted to call
Oh,
it
okay.
original.
All right. Well, we
I
just
know that's the one you hate.
let's just call it, you can't be serious, and we're going from
You
there. Okay.
can't be
All right.
serious. We're
All
gonna
right.
stick with
There you
that.
go.
We're gonna do a vote at some point. Like, I
Yes.
think mousse and maple syrup has
No,
possibilities.
I don't think mousse and maple syrup will do it. No, not at all. Not at all.
Not at all. No. Well, there you go. So we're
All
going.
right.
You can't be serious, and a lot of times we're not. Okay, 10 years in the business, a lot more than that. Chris, what were you hoping to accomplish with setting up the chambers? Your
Oh.
Facebook group, Chambers Influences. What brought you to do that? What are you hoping to accomplish?
Well, that's pretty straightforward in some ways. I had, of course, as many would know, started my business by using the chamber, and actually from the very week, my first week of being started, I was introduced to the local chamber of commerce, and it just grew from there. It's not an overnight process, but it grew from there. And literally within a couple of years of working with the chamber and doing things inside the chamber and many, many activities, it turned a beginning agency into something of a note in the area. So lots of referrals came from it. And the things that I did to make that happen are things that anyone can do. So I thought, well, I'll start a group and teach some of the things I learned over the years to grow the business by using the influencers and the people in the chamber. It comes actually it's a labor of love, let's say, okay, because I want to pass on those things to people who are not in the business or just getting in the business. Excuse me. Pass on those so they can grow their businesses more quickly and prosper. And so there you go. My selfish reason is self-interest and heartfelt prosperity. Whatever. Okay.
This is a free group. Nobody had to buy anything to get into the group. There's no product so
No,
far.
so
So
far.
what are you actually getting out of it? I mean, you're already in with the chambers.
Oh well, what I get out just pure pleasure. I like to visit with the folks that are growing their businesses. Boy, and in the product, there's a side benefit I never expected,
And
and
what
that
was
was Well, the number of people I've met from all over the country and other countries, as a matter of fact, just from being having started the group, having watched the people that have come into the group. I do make it a point on a fairly regular basis. In fact, every weekend I'll try to make at least 4 or 5 phone calls to people that are in the group that I haven't met yet, and that's led to alliances and getting into projects with other folks that are in the business, and a whole lot of camaraderie, to say the least. Uh, it's it's been exciting. That was a side benefit to doing all this. But I spend several hours a day working on the Facebook page, and I do that because I want it to grow. But more importantly, I want to be some decent information on there, and I think we're growing every day in the quality of the information that we're providing. Our weekly trainings are one thing, but I think we're going to start seeing more and more of the uh, videos from outside or from inside the group, from people who are doing things. Recently, that has begun, and I think I'm going to start doing quite a bit more Facebook Live too, just with short snippets of things that the people ought to be doing. One thing that's concerning me right now in the group is the fact that some people aren't getting off their butts. Uh, they're sitting in front of their computer and waiting on the business to come to them, and it doesn't work that way, guys. And you find your shiny object, and by the way, the shiny object is not going to make you any money unless you put it in front of somebody. It's not going to magically bring a customer inside your door. I don't care what the gurus that are selling the cotton picking stuff say. It doesn't work that way. They won't walk in your door unless you ask them to walk in your door. And so anyway, don't get me on that side, because I really get upset over the shiny objects, guys. Some of those guys are absolute crooks. I hate them sometimes. Yes. Is that direct enough?
That's not bad. That's not bad. That's pretty good. That's all a girl can ask for.
There you go.
What would be 3 of the most important? No, you don't want to name contact. Not names. Not names. But 3 of the biggest surprises for you in terms of contacts and value for you, that since you started this group. You say that you're on the phone, things are happening, the connections you're making. I'm not asking for names, don't want that at all. But what kind of things have developed for you out of this?
Well, they're actually, I think right now I have probably 4 projects in motion. All of them are geared to a national scope, and those 4 projects, we're eating away at the bits and pieces every day. There is, it's really, it's probably inappropriate for me to name them, but some is working on a special way of distribution for sales, using a very unique group of people that everybody would be familiar with if I were to mention the name. But another one has to do with a very special a database. I mean, it's a national database that we'll be rolling out with here very shortly. It's absolutely amazing. If you want to know somebody's name or some of the company's name, you'll have it immediately on your desk to look up for yourself. And that's every city, every county, every state in the union, all 50 states, and that'll be rolling out pretty quick. Yeah, pardon me. Yeah, so these are some great plans. Can
They
you hear
just
me all right?
turned up the music in here again.
Well, we can't hear it on our side, so you're all right.
That's good. I wanted to know that. The other thing was actually, oh yeah, they just did. It was okay. Just for another, say, 10 minutes. Yeah.
I've got to say this because you do flash in and out a little bit. Just to tell everybody that is actually the background in the room she's in, but the light was absolutely atrocious. That's the reason we were late starting. So
yeah.
she couldn't use the real background. Right?
I've got this huge wagon wheel, not a wagon wheel, but this huge up there.
And your hands are disappearing as you wave them.
There you go.
All right.
So then, Problem number 2, because we're live and we can do this. What the hell? I'm looking for, I want to see this on Facebook. I want to see if anybody's making any comments because we want to know who's going to win the lobster. And I'm not even sure where I can find it on Facebook.
Sure you can. But go ahead. What else is on your mind?
That's on my mind. Going to solve that first. Don't divert me. I'm a woman with a mission. I want to see those comments. I want people to make comments, and I can't even find it on Facebook. So that's,
Well, I do know it's in our group right now.
well, I logged into the group and I didn't see it. Anyway, fine, whatever. So, can you cook chicken? You're in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, yeah. Of course I can cook chicken. Yeah, just,
The Colonel. Okay, now I'm not asking for the 11 secret spices. I know what they are, but not the, I know 10 of them, but I don't know how much of each.
I don't know if anyone's ever seen this, but the Colonel Sanders real recipe is what we used to call a beer can chicken. We'd put a beer can on the grill,
Oh, yeah.
and the beer can would be about half full, of course. Then we'd put the chicken over it, just like you would put a stuffing inside the chicken.
Okay, yeah, tandoori
Put
chicken.
it on top of it, and it cooks on the grill, sitting on top of the beer can. Now the beer obviously evaporates, and the flavor goes into the chicken. So that's actually Colonel Sanders' recipe. He just doesn't tell anybody that.
What about all the spices and everything? The 11 secret spices.
That's all in the beer.
It's in the beer?
Hops. Oh yeah, hops. Hops has a lot of different types of spices.
On the outside.
What? Go ahead. We're getting off topic here a little bit.
I don't care.
I don't think there is a topic, but go ahead.
Yeah, look, this first one, there's not maybe much of a topic, and there should be, and I did have it all mapped out, and then I've just been thrown off, and that's okay. You roll with the punches. Lobster. Do you like lobster?
Oh, I love it. It's one of my favorites. That's the reason I know I'm going to win because
I don't know. You haven't commented. But I can't even see if anyone has. So I can't announce a winner until we finish. So if you want a lobster, now's your chance. Put any kind of a comment, maybe where you're from, whatever. The story of the lobster. It's actually a little bit interesting from Miramichi because I've been following this up. And what I can tell you is that it's lobster galore. It's heaven around here. The seafood and everything, but it's not quite lobster season. However, the place which supplies Rod Hotel, I'm in Rod Hotel, and I've got to tell you, what a fabulous hotel it is. And the people have been so kind. Real shout out to Jesse and Jamie and Kate at the hotel. They've been most generous to me. So I contacted their supplier, who doesn't ship. Then I contacted the person that they recommended, which was O'Neill's. So Bay St. Anne Fisheries doesn't ship, and O'Neill's doesn't ship, and so they've got me going to Moncton Fish Market, and they do ship in Canada. So I'm having trouble finding somebody who'll ship to the States. But so the worst that can happen is that it's two lobster that come from Maine in the height of lobster season. That's the worst that can happen. But it might come from Nova Scotia. It's not going to be canned. I can guarantee it's not going to be canned. It can be fresh. It can be frozen. And it will be delivered to you by courier, whoever the winner is, and you will select when you want to have it. Wow. Who do you think we should have next?
Who on the program?
No. I mean, who do you think we should interview next? I'm going to ask everyone that comes up here that I have, who do they think we should interview next? Who would you like to hear from?
Oh, there are a number of people.
I know. That's the thing. There's so many.
I wouldn't hesitate to even name anybody as a single one, but they're probably I can think of 15 right now that'd be fascinating to have on as an interview. Um, and I think that's the strength of what you're doing right here with You Can't Be Serious podcast is you get to learn more about the people in the group and
Oh,
not at all about business, about their families, about what they like to do, having things outside of trying to grow a business that are important to them. Those are the kind of things that kind of make a group a little bit more special. And I know that there's certainly no group that I know of is doing anything this crazy. That's for sure. Uh, you take maybe we'll take this on the road after it's all said and done. But
yeah, I've got a lot to learn, and I do appreciate everyone's patience. I just moved into the hotel last night. Tomorrow I'm going to, or the next day I'm going to Montreal on the train. I thought we were going to be doing a podcast on a train at a moment for a few days there. So everything has been in flux, and I do ask your understanding and forgiveness. Uh, but we are going to get into the nitty gritty. I mean, it's more difficult for me to interview you, Chris, because we know each other, from chats over time. Um,
but then
if
you should know exactly what to ask.
Yeah, well, I had a list of questions. Too bad I can't find my book, eh?
Oh, good. You're starting to use that Canadian word. You've only been there 2 weeks.
Eh?
Hey.
Well, actually, that's kind of more maritime I'm learning. I
Oh, I
wait
see.
to pick up a maritime accent, and then it gets scary.
Uh-huh.
Do you have any pets? No. I know you.
No, no, I don't. I don't. But I am a an
What
animal lover, right?
if you could choose any pet? What pet would you choose?
That's an easy question for me. Australian shepherds are my favorite. Uh, and my wife and I raised and trained collies for quite a few years, and then we just got away from raising. In fact, we showed collies for a while, and then we got away from it a little while. And then when we moved to North Carolina, uh, kind of wanted to get back into have a few dogs and so forth. So we got involved with Australian shepherds, uh, raising and training those. And
How are they different? Excuse me. How are they different from another dog, Australian Shepherd, Alsatian, different shepherd?
well, first of all, they're average about 60, 65 pounds. So they're, a medium sized dog. It's not a small dog. And a lot of people have a misconception that of course they're sheep herding dogs, basically is what they are. Uh,
Yeah.
some people use them for cattle, but the main thing that people uh, believe, which is not true, is they have to be outside and they have to have a big area to run in. That's simply not true. All of our Aussies were in the house all the time, laying around, staying close. I had a particular favorite that I took with me out to the lake. We had a pontoon boat out at the lake, and I would say, let's just go to the lake, and she'd hop in the car. We get on the pontoon boat. She'd get right up on the front, just so the breeze front, put her feet up on the front rail of the pontoon boat. And on this particular lake, there was a little place that you could stop and walk up the hill and have breakfast, lunch, or something like that, and a screened-in porch. And they had docks that you could dock your boat out and then walk up the hill to the place. And when she was with me, I would I would simply tell her to stay on the boat, and I wouldn't put a leash on her. I wouldn't put any kind of restriction on her at all, except just the command stay. And I would walk up to the boat, and she would sit there and of course, keep looking at where I'd walk to. But she'd sit there and look at it. People would walk by and pet her, everything else, and she'd stay right there. So that was my buddy. I took her everywhere with me. So that's something I would like to have again. And I probably will very soon. That was a very special time with a very special friend for those years that I had her. So
I
that's one
think
of my
that'd be really
experiences with animals.
good. That'd be really good for you, I think. Um, what in our last question closing. Are you ready for this?
Oh, sure. Ready for you, Judith. Go
Are
ahead.
you ready for anything? What is the one regret or thing that you would change in your life? You've had a long, very successful life. You know, so many people, you've done so many things. Is there one regret?
Hmm, that's an interesting question. After this many years, you have to think back through probably a couple along the way. So what's the one thing I wouldn't have done? Is that what you're talking about? Something I wouldn't have done?
Something, yeah, or that something that you could change or you just regret doing.
Hmm. Well, let's see. Without incriminating myself, let's see what it would be.
Oh, no, 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 no. We're going for the incrimination, Chris. Come
Oh,
on.
are we? Okay. So this since this is live, I'll we'll turn it off to the FBI and let them take care of it from there. Uh, oh, I think probably moving to Chicago was one of my biggest regrets uh, uh, because of the location. However, each time you make an error or something else comes from it, then that's Chicago is where I started another business in a sports marketing company, and it grew like a weed. I jumped off in the deep end really quick because the sports marketing company we specialized in the sports marketing company. By the way, was just my wife and I. That was the sports marketing company, but we began working with the NFL almost immediately. And over the years that we owned that company, we did 2 Super Bowl promotions and 2 Pro Bowl promotions. Uh, Out of O'Hare in Chicago, I had over 300,000 air miles going around to the various teams, NFL teams around the country, and visited the NFL offices on Park Avenue in New York at least 3 times a year just to visit with their promotions and marketing departments. And the company was really a concept company. It was an ideas company. And when we came in with the ideas, we never got shot down. We got lucky, I guess, along the way.
Excellent.
So that was a lot of fun.
So you
Very
used to
much fun.
travel so much and now you're not. You're pretty much a homebody now. Do you
Well, I
miss?
am. Yeah, I am. And I think a lot of people in this business end up being uh, that way if they don't have like a full agency or something like that, which I did up until a year or so ago. I had 7 people. We had a beautiful office, 7 very talented people, and then I decided that that wasn't for me anymore. So I downsized, and yeah, now I'm a solopreneur, as they say. But the sad thing about being a solopreneur is the fact that you aren't out much. And so anybody watching that's in that particular spot, I encourage you. I know it's uh, we keep talking. We talked about it early on. Get off your butt and go do something. But that's the reason. Another reason I really preach the chamber, because when you are solo and you can be tempted just to sit behind the computer. If you have something like the chamber where you're mixing with other business people on a regular basis, boy, that opens up your horizons, keeps you from feeling cloistered, and you get opinions from everybody around you. But if you don't get out of that room and then in the house, which is more a lot of what everybody does, right? If you don't get out of that room, that house, and get out into the world, first of all, you're not going to learn a damn thing, and second of all, you're going to really get to be grumpy after a while. That's for sure. Uh, so I get rid of my grumpiness probably on the phone more than anything else. Uh,
Yeah.
if it gets too late, then I sometimes will say things I shouldn't. But anyway,
Oh,
I
we all.
I give license to myself because of my age. Yeah.
Christopher, I do thank you very much for this interview. Is there anything that you wanted to add and tell the people other than make your comment below to get those 2 lobster?
Oh, yeah. I could. Yeah. Make sure you do, because that was an amazing offer being made right there. That being my favorite food, I really thought it was amazing. And if you, of course, this being our charter voyage, so to speak, I remember back within this group, the first training video I made was an absolute disaster, and the second one wasn't a whole lot better when it came to production quality and things like that. And things certainly improved along the way, which I know they will with the podcast. So I would say this, Judith, I wish you all the best in this, because I think it will grow into something that people will enjoy, and finding out more about people and their likes and dislikes, and hopefully find out about their business. On this particular podcast, and I tell people that want to do this, so a lot of people come on board and want to sell products or something in, within the group. And right now we're staying away from that. But anyone who wants to come on this show and maybe say something about a product, I have no problem with that. This is a wide open. This is our podcast, and yeah, sure. If they want to say a few words about it, I don't want to make the whole podcast about it, but
Yeah.
if they want to say a few minutes, you're the one that can shut them off when they get going too long on a product sale. But but
Man,
that to me is fine too. I think this program should just be wide open, and with no holes barred, and just let flow what flows. I know there's some people here that are doing some fabulous things. Things like bots and wallets, mobile wallets, and things of that nature, and memberships that they're groups that they're a part of. And I don't mind them sharing other groups while they're here, saying, you should check out this group. That to me is, again, I want this to be a no holds barred, wide open, go for it, unlike anything else we do in the group. And so that's what I'm going to tell everybody out there. I encourage you to do that when you come on. You're free to do what you want to. But Judith's also free to say, that shut you off when she gets ready to, too. So never forget when you come on who is in charge. If Judith ain't happy, nobody's happy.
That's right. And Judith's going to make sure that she's not bored.
Thanks for doing this, Judith. I appreciate it.
Oh, no problem. I really appreciate the opportunity. I appreciate that you're giving us carte blanche to do that in chamber. I know for everybody who's joining us for the first time, and people might have been wondering, how long is this? And I said to Chris, I don't want a time. I don't want to say we're here for an hour. I don't want to say we're here for 10 minutes. If it's going well, we're going to be here until it gets truly boring. No, before that. But if things are going well, then I think that we have a forum, and we might as well make good use of it. But neither did I want anyone to feel, oh my God, I have to have an hour's worth of something to say, because you don't. If we're good to go in 15, 20 minutes and we've had a great show, that's good too. It's not filling up time. It's play as you go. And with that, I think we should bring this to an end. We will have another one next Saturday. And I think as I'm set up in a certain place, it's kind of fun to go from one place to another. Next week we'll be in Montreal, maybe for 2 weeks in Montreal. And that'll be different. I might find some interesting places to have one. I will set up beforehand more than I did for this one. And I look forward to seeing you all. Now, at the end of this, I'll have a look at the comments, and then I will post the winner of the 2 lobster. And in a few days, you'll see who else is going to be on. Coming to you next week from Montreal. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Judith, bye-bye.
Thanks.